I'm SUNY Fredonia Interim Provost and Vice President Judy Horowitz. Welcome to Fredonia's 2025 Commencement. Please remain standing while Ashley Zelazinski, who will be graduating this morning, magna cum laude, with a Bachelor of Music degree in Music Education, leads us in the Star-Spangled Banner. And please remain standing after the anthem while Anna Evans, who's graduating today with a Master of Music degree in Music Education, reads this morning's opening reflection.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of
Good morning, everyone. Today, we gather to celebrate an incredible achievement, the commencement of the SUNY Fredonia class of 2025. This ceremony honors the hard work, dedication, and growth of every graduate here today. As we gather, we are reminded of the purpose that unites us as an institution: to foster learning, to pursue truth, and to cultivate the ideals of goodness and beauty in all that we do. This is not just about academic achievement, but about shaping individuals who will go on to make a difference in the world. Today, we celebrate the achievements of the class of 2025, acknowledging our journey and honoring the hard work that brought us here. Let us take a moment to reflect on the path we've shared and look forward to the bright futures ahead. Congratulations to us all.
Please be seated. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Anna. And thank you as well, Dr. Paula Holcomb and the Fredonia Wind Ensemble for this beautiful music for this morning's celebration. It is now my pleasure to introduce the members of this morning's processional party, who will please stand as I read their names and remain standing. I ask that we hold our applause until the entire party is introduced. Dawn Spicer Dake, Treasurer of the Fredonia Alumni Association. SUNY Distinguished Teaching Professor Paul Makovac, our official mace bearer today. Anna Evans, graduate student and reflection reader. Thomas Hayes, Senior Class President. Dr. Stephen H. Collison Jr., 14th President of SUNY Fredonia. The Honorable Frank Pagano, Chair of the Fredonia College Council. Our keynote speaker this morning, Dr. Kim Harrington, SUNY Fredonia Class of 1989. Dr. Bruce Simon, University Faculty Senator. Taylor Kelly, the recipient of the SUNY Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence and one of this morning's graduates. Ms. Jennifer Wilkins, Chair of the State University of New York at Fredonia University Senate. Amy Lee, the recipient of the Norman R. McConnelly Jr. Award for Student Excellence and one of this morning's graduates. Ms. Karen Rohr, Vice President for University Advancement and Executive Director of the Fredonia College Foundation. Dr. Jamil Ray, Dean of the College of Education, Health Sciences, and Human Services. Dr. Catherine Kendall, Vice President for Enrollment Management and Services. Dr. David Stringham, the Dean for the School of Music. Dr. Vicki T. Sapp, Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer. Dr. Kostov Mizra, Dean of the School of Business. Dr. Tracy Stanger, Vice President for Student Affairs. Dr. J. Andy Karfa, Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Dr. Naomi Baldwin, Chief of Staff and Executive Assistant to the President. Dr. James Harrington, Assistant Professor, School of Music. Dr. Michelle Cuadio, Chief Information Officer. Dr. Mary Beth Stevens, Professor, Department of History. Mr. Wayne Lynch, Vice President for Finance and Administration. Mr. Richard Morrisroe, Esquire, member of the Fredonia College Council. The Honorable Stephen Keefe, member of the Fredonia College Council. And Mr. Richard Alexander, member of the Fredonia College Council. Thanks to all the members of the professional party for being part of this celebration. Please be seated. Today's ceremony is a collaboration among hardworking support staff, dedicated volunteers from throughout the campus and the Commencement Committee, chaired by Associate Director of Campus Life, Rachel Martin. Thank you. And thank you to all who have worked collectively to make this celebration a special day for graduating students, their families, and their friends. Thank you to this morning's faculty marshals, Senior Assistant Librarian Christina Hilberger from Reed Library, recipient of the 25 SUNY Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Librarianship, and Professor Ivani Vassler-Froelich from the Department of Politics and International Affairs. Also, please join me in recognizing these graduating student marshals who are honored for their academic achievement and service to Fredonia. Sierra Allen, Marie Alexandria Carlini, Jacob Dove, Layla Hollis, Lillian Holman, and Isabella Weber. Thank you. And special thanks year after year to today's sign language interpreter, Janelle Kruger. Thank you. Thank you to those who are coordinating today's live streaming video, and welcome to those who are watching from afar.
Hello, Fredonia. I can hear you. Hello, Fredonia. Are you excited this morning? Are you excited? Okay, all right. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the chairman of the Fredonia College Council, the Honorable Frank Pagano. Mr. Pagano was first appointed by then Governor David Patterson in 2009 to a 7-year term as member and chair of the Fredonia College Council. He was reappointed in 2016 by then Governor Andrew Cuomo. He will bring greetings to our audience here today. Mr. Pagano started his career in banking, and then from 1970 to 1998, he served as president of MPJ Enterprises. From 1998 to 2006, Mr. Pagano served as chairman of the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency. Mr. Pagano served 3 consecutive terms as mayor of the village of Fredonia from 1995 to 2007. In 2005, he was elected to serve a 1-year term as president of the New York State Conference of Mayors. And in 2006, then Mayor Pagano was listed in the congressional record by Congressman Brian Higgins for his outstanding contribution to New York State Council of Mayors. Giving greetings on behalf of the Fredonia College Council, the Honorable Frank Pagano.
Thank you, Dr. Collison. Before I start, I'd like to give a shout out to the School of Music for the production last night of The Sound of Music. It was one of the best performances I've ever seen at this school in 40 years. So congratulations to everybody that participated. I'd also welcome, before I start, I'd like to welcome Kim Harrington. This is our graduate speaker today. And I'll tell you, she's a great lady. And she once sat where you sitting today. And now she's up here. So it tells you, hard work, what hard work gets you. It gets you from the floor to the top. Okay, good morning, everyone. What a truly joyous occasion as we gather here today to celebrate a milestone, the graduation of the remarkable class of 2025. A warm welcome also to the proud families and friends who supported our graduates every step of the way. Your encouragement has been invaluable. And to our exceptional faculty and staff, thank you for your unwavering commitment to education and for shaping these future leaders. Today is a testament to the power of learning, growth, and the pursuit of excellence. Graduates, you are ready to take on the world. Let's celebrate your accomplishment and the exciting journey ahead. Welcome to graduation 2025, and good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Pagano, for your welcome, your unwavering support of our institution, and your encouragement to the graduates in the campus community. This morning, it is my great honor to reintroduce the 14th president of the State University of New York at Fredonia, Dr. Stephen H. Collison, Jr. President Collison was unanimously appointed by the SUNY Board of Trustees to the presidency of SUNY Fredonia after a nationwide search in 2020. Since arriving on our campus in August of 2020, he has provided us exemplary leadership that has kept this institution fully operational and continuing to fulfill its mission under various challenges, including the global pandemic, while taking full advantage of opportunities to ensure the relevance of this institution. I am pleased to present to you President Collison for the charge to our 2025 graduates.
Thank you. Parents, relatives, friends of all the graduates, students, staff, our great faculty of this university, supporters of this university, and friends. Thank you all for joining us today to celebrate the achievements of these graduates. It is a hard privilege for me as president of this outstanding university to provide a charge to the graduates as they commence new chapters on the journey ahead. Class of 2025, it gives me a very special joy to see your perseverance to make it to the finish line. I'm very proud of you for your fortitude and determination. Congratulations to you. I am of the view that all great things are achieved with the help of others. So graduates, will you please stand with me so that we can show our appreciation to your parents, your relatives, professors, friends, and all those that helped you to get to this moment. Will you please stand? Thank you. Parents, I hope you can feel the love. Faculty, I hope you can feel the love. And friends, I hope you can feel the love. Now the charge. The charge is simple, but profound. So my charge to you, class of 2025, is this. Go forth and improve the human condition wherever you may be. Go forth and improve the human condition wherever you may be. Class of 2025, I wish you the very best for the journey ahead. Thank you for choosing SUNY Fredonia for your education. You will forever be a part of the tapestry that is the Fredonia story. Fredonians forever. May God bless you, guide you, and protect you always. Thank you.
This year's graduating class exhibits the best of Fredonia's traditions, its spirit, and its future. Members of the class of 2025 have developed their skills, and they've brought pride and distinction to our university in many ways. They've applied their knowledge off campus through internships, through service learning, clinical field placements. Representing the graduating class is Senior Class President Thomas Hayes. Thomas is from Honey Eye Falls, whose college career has centered on service to SUNY Fredonia and our students. Thomas graduates this morning with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Theater Arts. He was named to the Alma Mater Society, established in 1966 by the Student Association, to recognize students who have exhibited outstanding qualities of character and leadership in support of the student body and the college community as a whole during their university years here. Thomas's service to the university has been wide-ranging, from class representative on the Student Association and a member of its Budget and Appropriations Committee, to serving as a member of the Judicial Board and the Academic Integrity Board. He was a long-standing campus tour guide, an attendant in the Wellness Center, and a work-study, social media intern, and junior counselor in the Office of Admissions. This year, he was also a social media ambassador with the university's Office of Marketing and Communications. Thomas has been a resident advisor since his junior year, and this year, the president of the Resident Assistant Advisory Board. In service to the wider university, he was member of the president's student cabinet and a university senator. Thomas joined Kappa Sigma fraternity his first year and served in several leadership positions, including social media director. His future plans include traveling abroad this summer and hopefully sleeping a lot. Joining Thomas this morning are several members of his family. his mom, Michelle, his dad, Dan, his brothers, Jordan and Daniel, uncles Frank and Ed, and aunts Karen and Mo. Can I ask them to please stand and be recognized? Thank you. It is my great pleasure to present to you Senior Class President Thomas Hayes.
Good morning, class of 2025. To the families, the friends, the faculty, our honored guests, and most of all, the graduates, thank you all for being here today. It is a rare thing to be seen by so many all at once, and an even rarer thing to be heard, and I'm grateful for the chance to have both. Now, can we be honest for a moment? By a show of hands, how many of you have ever waited until the last minute to turn in an assignment? Show of hands. I see you back there. You were on my group project? Raise your hands. Yeah. Raise it high. And as your so esteemed class president, it feels only right that I match your honesty with some of my own. Can I be honest, class? I said, class, can I be honest? I waited until the very last minute to write this speech. I was late. I was 9 days late. I revised it yesterday. So a very special shout out goes to the ASL interpreter who has to deal with me. And now, somewhere in the stand, a parent is asking, hey, who let this guy up here? But I must admit, I've asked myself that same thing more than once. And I'm sure many of you have questioned yourself, not only in this moment where you are about to take your first step into your professional lives, but many times in the past 4 years. I've questioned if I belonged in the room, if I earned the right to lead or to speak or to be seen. That feeling of being a fraud in your own story. I know it visits us all more than we care to admit. But I showed up anyway, again and again. And so did you. You're not here because you silenced every voice of doubt, but because you walked forward in spite of them. That, to me, is what makes this class remarkable. The class of 2025 is one that stands out. And before I speak on what we leave behind, I would like to first thank the Senior Class Committee and all those who contributed to the Senior Class Challenge Fund. This semester, we raised over $5,000, and that achievement belongs to all of you. And yes, if you must know, I started those fundraising efforts late too. I think it's part of my charm. Now it is my pleasure to present our senior class gift, and in truth, we offer two. The first is our time capsule, which will be displayed in the library in 2027 after renovations are complete. And it will be opened in the year 2050. A time capsule is more than just a box of memories, as you are more than just knowledge in a robe. It is a reminder that we were here. The second is a mural series in the Williams Center, a painted journey. 4 panels, each telling a part of our story. They showcase the journey of a Fredonia student, no matter the path. Now, I'd like to invite President Colson up to the podium to unveil the mock-ups of the mural. They're gonna be bigger in person. If you ever visit campus in the future, I encourage you to visit the Williams Center, stand in front of the mural, and let that remind you of the road we've taken. And please let us offer our appreciation to the gifted Aaron Ruffino, who is bringing that journey to life currently. And now, with a show of hands, how many of you have ever been asked, so, what are your plans after college? Yup. And now, how many of you despise that question? Not because of the question itself, but perhaps because of the weight of the expectations behind it. And perhaps you've heard someone else speak so confidently about their future, and you think, man, maybe I should have it figured out too. But look around you. Truly, look around you. Some faces may be familiar, and some may be strangers, but we are all here. Some of us were athletes, others artists, some led clubs. Others may have spent their time working, or perhaps studying. Hey, what's that like? I'm a theater major. Some of us were seen often, and some only in passing. But regardless of the rhythms we walked, we all arrived here in the same place. Let that remind you that there is no right path in life, no perfect timeline, and no perfect plan. Your journey is your own. You may feel left behind or unsure, but remember, you are more than the things you don't know. You are more than your doubts, and you are certainly more than your worst moments. And remember, as we've proven here today, that you will arrive, eventually, in your own time and in your own way. And before I close, I'd like to offer some personal thanks to my parents for your love and sacrifice and unwavering belief in me, because without you, I don't think I'd be standing here today. To my professors for challenging me and helping me grow. To my friends who have always been there through the highs and lows. And to my girlfriend, Violet, for your constant love and support. I couldn't have done half of what I've done here without you. And lastly, to any of my residents, both current and former, thank you for making these past 2 years so meaningful. From the bottom of my heart, it just means so much to me, from the random heart-to-hearts in the hallways, to being locked out of your rooms. As you know, college isn't always smooth. There will be rough days, long nights, and moments when you feel a little upside down. So I hope when it all starts to feel a little bit too much, I hope you will all take a breath and remember a little slogan that we always came back to. Have no fear, T. Hayes is here! Now those who get it, get it. And for those who don't, I'm sorry, I'm almost done. I may not be just around the corner, but I'm always with you in spirit. You're gonna be just fine. Anyway, class of 2025, it has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your senior class president. Congratulations to us. Thank you, class.
Thank you, class of 2025, for your generous and lasting gifts. Thank you, Thomas, for those heartfelt remarks, for your service and your leadership. That was a speech worth waiting for. And now I welcome Dr. Vernon Huff and the Fredonia Chamber Choir under his direction. They will perform My Companion for us by Elaine Hagenbergen with text by Edith Franklin Wyatt. Thank you, Dr. Huff. That was beautiful. Thank you to the Fredonia Chamber Choir for that performance. At this time, we would like to acknowledge a recipient of the State University of New York System Award, which was presented in April by Chancellor King. Taylor Kelly received the 2025 State University of New York Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence. And I ask that Taylor please stand and be recognized. A recipient of another State University of New York System Award that was presented in March. Amy Lee received the 2025 Norman R. McConney Jr. Award for Student Excellence, and I ask that Amy please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Congratulations, Amy.
Let me digress just for 15 seconds. I was listening to a program quite recently, and it was about loneliness in America. And so, as I sat over here and I listened to the song, "You Are My Companion," so moving. That's a very powerful statement, to have a companion, regardless of the journey. And so I want to say thanks to the Chamber Choir and to Dr. Huff for such a beautiful and timely song. Thank you so much. This is a very special honor today, this morning, to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Dr. Kim Harrington. A graduate of Fredonia class of 1989, majoring in psychology, Dr. Harrington is the Associate Vice President for Arts, Belonging, and Community at Georgia Tech. She earned a Master's of Education degree in Higher Education from the State University at Buffalo and a PhD in Educational Psychology from Georgia Tech. In her role as Associate Vice President, Dr. Harrington is responsible for spearheading the growth and development of this new division and intentionally leads with a focus on creating a vibrant culture of belonging, creative expression, and community for all Georgia Tech students. Throughout her career, Dr. Harrington has served in many leadership roles in higher education, including residence life, admission, student center, human resources, administration, and finance. Her approach is student-centered and is highly regarded for her ability to solve complex challenges with creativity and care. Her goal is to foster inclusive environments where every individual feels valued, connected, and supported. Let me repeat. Her goal is to foster inclusive environments where every individual feels valued, connected, and supported. Hello, somebody. Among her many awards and accolades are the University System of Georgia Chancellor Gold Service Excellence Award in Leadership and the Butts Whiting Award, which recognizes and honors outstanding leaders who have made significant contribution to the college union and the student activities of the Association of College Union International. In 2024, the Georgia Tech Black Alumni Organization honored Dr. Harrington with the Staff Award at its annual Leaders and Legend Gala. Outside of her professional role, Dr. Harrington has a deep commitment to supporting children in foster care. She is chair of the board of Georgia Court-appointed Special Advocates, member of the Fredonia College Foundation Board of Directors. She is a proud member of the Douglas Carroll Paulding chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Society. Originally from Buffalo and a graduate of Hush Tech High School, Dr. Harrington now resides just west of Atlanta with her two sons. We are so proud and honored that Dr. Harrington is here today to share her message with our graduates. Joining us are her guests, including her son, Grayson Alton Harrington Pete. Will you please stand and be recognized? Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Harrington to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning, graduates. How are you? I am delighted to join you on this monumental day, your 2025 graduation from Fredonia State University. Thank you to President Collison, Interim Provost Horowitz, and Fredonia's leadership for this opportunity. This is a tremendous honor, and I am over the moon excited to be here with all of you today. Warm greetings to the faculty, staff, and distinguished guests gathered here to celebrate our graduates. Special thanks to my youngest son, as you all met earlier, and my college friend Anne Marie for joining me this morning. Your presence is greatly appreciated. Now, I know at this crowd, I'm not breaking news when I say Fredonia is an incredibly special place. Fredonia helped me build a solid foundation for my future and revealed facets of myself I didn't know existed. It was here that I discovered my academic niche as a psychology student, not biology as originally intended. Let's just say organic chemistry and I had a mutual agreement to see other people. It was here that Dr. Edwin Lawson included me in a research project as a freshman and piqued my now insatiable interest in human behavior, thus my love for reality TV. Here, Dr. Barbara Kaplan made a point to encourage me in class, complimented my work, and told me that I could have a future in this field. Dr. Kaplan, thank you for seeing me. It made a world of difference, and I'm forever grateful. Just over the way in Fenton Hall, during an English elective, I fell madly in love with reading for the pure joy of it, a love affair that is still going strong. Fredonia is also where I met and bonded with people very different from me. It was through these connections I was exposed to new perspectives. I challenged some previously held assumptions. I prompted others to change theirs and expanded my worldview. I found my community here. I developed meaningful friendships, many that are intact today. Some of my best memories included spirited late-night conversations in Suite 203 in Casling Hall, special holiday meals in the dining hall, dance parties at Sonny's. Anybody know about Sonny's? And maybe one or two really deep philosophical debates at the creek over some Pepsi. It was here at Fredonia where I developed the interpersonal and leadership skills that I hold fast today. Skills incubated as a resident assistant in Nixon and Eisenhower halls, as an orientation leader, and in the roles I was honored to hold in the Black Student Union. I was privileged to watch campus administrators like Mike Dimitri model fair and consistent leadership. From the sidelines, I watched how he skillfully empowered and set his teams up for success while always centering the student experience. Thanks for that, Dad. It has shaped how I led teams throughout my career. It is also here where I found my voice. You see, I was an incredibly shy, introverted student from Buffalo's East Side. I was so quiet that I just puzzled my grandfather. You know, one day I watched him lean over and ask my mom, "Does she speak?" I was 12. Well, today, thanks in part to my Fredonia experience, I do. Hey, Granddaddy. Over the next few months, I suspect you may also reflect on your time here and what made Fredonia special to you. How this experience, the good and maybe the not so good, contributed to who you are. As you prepare to begin your next chapter, I have 5 thoughts for you to carefully consider. Number 1, be curious. A true education does not give you all the answers. It just gives you better questions. Curiosity sparks creativity, fuels innovation, and can significantly enhance your overall well-being. It drives exploration and investigation. Through curiosity, discoveries are made and problems are solved. When you lean into curiosity, you actively pursue opportunities for learning and growth. You embrace the unknown. Whatever you practice shapes you. Practice curiosity. As a result, you will become a lifelong learner. Number 2, cultivate your community. As you look around this room, it holds members of your community, your cheerleaders, your coaches, your co-conspirators, those who were with you along the journey. There's an African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. No one gets far alone. I believe that we can all thrive in the community that offers us an appropriate balance of challenge and support. A caring and supportive community can help you go farther than you've ever imagined. Cherish your community, nurture your community, and pay it forward. Ideally, we all know what it feels like to belong, to know that you matter. As you move forward, graduates, you will join communities and you will launch new ones. Please be the person that welcomes new members with openness, helps someone feel like they belong, and know that they matter. Life is infinitely better with community. Number 3, know you can do difficult things. Your experiences shape you. You have been indelibly impacted by your time in college. You've successfully navigated challenges, learned a few things, and made yourself and others proud. Many are who in this room today. I am here to encourage you to take risks and embrace failure as an essential part of the journey to success. You only truly fail when you stop trying. Resilience and resolve are developed through difficulty. Life, I'm here to tell you, will certainly not get easier, but as you keep moving, you will get stronger. Number 4, kindness and character matter always. In a world obsessed with followers and likes, your character is your true legacy. Your values and how they manifest through the way you move over time will speak louder and stronger than what you say in any social media post. Kindness is genuine care and sincere consideration toward others. It is never wasted, and I truly believe kindness is a superpower. Whether you're leading a team, helping someone work through a challenge, or just holding the door for someone, strive to make every interaction count. Maya Angelou was absolutely right when she said, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will even forget what you did, but people will never, ever forget how you made them feel. You never know whose day or life you might change with a simple act of kindness. Number 5, the world needs what only you can bring. We're in interesting times, and you are uniquely prepared, graduates, to make a difference. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your original. Bring your gifts, bring your talents, bring your perspective, bring your story. Don't compare yourself to others. Not your classmates, not your parents, not your siblings, and Grace and my dear, not your cousins. It is fine to be inspired by others you do, but do not allow that to distract you from becoming the best version of you. Envision a brighter future for our world and move toward it. Let your dreams and aspirations propel you. Represent yourself, your family, your community, and your university with pride. Do great work. Move forward boldly. Know that you have something to offer and you are more than enough. You know, this time of year across the country, commencement speakers are making grand gestures. Paying off student loans, financing startups. Usher was a keynote at Emory in Atlanta. I'm sure he bought everybody a house. I'm here to tell you that's not what's going to happen today. But I do promise to be available to each and every one of you, to encourage you, to be a supportive member of your community, and serve as your thought partner on any idea that you want to pitch. Fredonia State University class of 2025, this is my wish for you. May you find the courage to be yourself, the curiosity to keep learning. May you have communities that enrich you, the fortitude to persevere through challenges, and the heart to lead with kindness. Your journey is uniquely yours. The world is waiting for you. You got this. Thank you and congratulations.
So this is a very special moment, and I want to make sure it goes down to be very memorable, okay? I'm very grateful to you for speaking to our students today, and we have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plaque.
As we begin the presentation of candidates, please remain seated in Steele Hall until all graduates are recognized as a courtesy to everyone attending today's ceremony. The diploma covers that will be handed out today to our graduates are a gift from the Commencement Committee and the Office of the Registrar. This morning's readers are Dr. Mary Beth Stevens from the Department of History and Assistant Professor James Harrington from the School of Music. We will now proceed with the approval of the confirmation of degrees for candidates of bachelor's and master's degrees and the advanced certificates and the presentation of candidates for graduation. May I ask the enrobed faculty and staff to please stand. Please turn and face your students. Faculty and staff, you have played important roles in educating and inspiring these graduates. I ask you now to confirm formally that they have met the requirements of their degree and certificate programs. Faculty and staff, do you approve these candidates for the bachelor's and master's degrees and the advanced certificate? If so, answer yes. President Collison, the candidates have been confirmed. Thank you, faculty and staff. Please be seated. Candidates for the master's degree and the advanced certificate, will you please stand? President Collison, these graduates have completed master's degrees and advanced certificate requirements in their program of study. They have been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees of the University of New York. In the name of our faculty and by its authority, I have the honor of presenting them to you so that you may confer upon them the appropriate master's degree: Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Music, Master of Science, and Master of Science in Education, or the advanced certificate.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the State University of New York and the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York, I now confer upon you the appropriate master's degree or advanced certificate and admit you to all rights, privileges, responsibilities pertaining to that degree or certificate. Welcome to the company of scholars. Congratulations.
Please be seated. You can sit, please. Candidates for the master's degree and advanced certificate will now be directed to the platform to be hooded and to receive their degrees. Graduates, the ushers will escort you forward by row. Master's degree recipients will be hooded by the Dean of the School of Music, David Stringham, and the Dean of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Andy Carfa. Most advanced certificate graduates have previously attained their master's degree, so you'll note they're already wearing their academic hood.
Anna Elizabeth Evans. Nicholas Brian Patilio. Gino Michael Thompson. Alexander Pierce Hurling. Devin Carrington Banning. Colin A. Marzek. Jessica Stiano. Michaela Leanne Colts Monroe. Matthew Roy Michaelis. Bethany M. Printup Davis. Taras Logvis. Shane Nicole Turo. Jacob Kantner. Heather Bailey O'Leary, summa cum laude. Sarah Ilana Burke, summa cum laude. Alicia Marie Cluck. Taylor Marie Rakovic. Mia Mondino. Tamam O'Day. Sarah Acero Grant.
Candidates for the bachelor's degree, will you please stand? President, these candidates have completed their curricula prescribed for their degrees by the State University of New York at Fredonia. They've been recommended by our faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York. In the name of the faculty and by its authority, I have the honor of presenting them to you so that you may confer upon them the appropriate degrees: Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science, or Bachelor of Science in Education.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of the State of New York and the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York, I now confer upon you the appropriate bachelor's degree and admit you to all rights, privileges, responsibilities pertaining to the degree. Congratulations. You may now move your tassels from the right to the left.
Graduates, please be seated. Ushers will escort you to the stage by row to receive your degrees from members of Fredonia College Council.
Senior Class President Thomas Hayes. Isabella Yarka Weber, summa cum laude. Lillian Beatriz Holman, summa cum laude. Sierra Eve Allen, magna cum laude. Marie Alexandria Carlini, summa cum laude. Jacob William Dove, summa cum laude. Layla Hollis, magna cum laude. Taylor Rose Kelly, summa cum laude. Heather M. De Jesus. Shania L. Evans. Amy Lee. Esther McDonald. Julian Santos, magna cum laude. Haley Lindsay Mercer. Cassidy Ann Pierce. Anthony Samuel Pascal, magna cum laude. Joy Mack. Bryant Jose Rivas Martinez. Tijan Jibril Tiam. Hannah Grace Rich, summa cum laude. Isabella Catherine Mowers, magna cum laude. Jess Hall, summa cum laude. Lucas Cochran, summa cum laude. Nicholas Andrew Cristoforo, summa cum laude. Philip Mara III, summa cum laude. Ashley G. Zelazinski, magna cum laude. Lillian Grace Bear, magna cum laude. Raina I. Reisner. Christina Jewell. Jasir Medina James. Elijah Smalls. Alon Heimovitz. Kai Woods. Anya Eugenia Garcia. Amari Renee McNair. Drew H. Pollock, summa cum laude. Rebecca Morgan Torncello, summa cum laude. Thomas Stone. Jack Ryan Oliver, summa cum laude. Colin Jacob Schmidt. Elias Matthew Giuliano, summa cum laude. Nicholas Ragusa. Gabrielle Amanda Perusik, summa cum laude. Emma Marie Rask, summa cum laude. Alyssa Brooke Marley, summa cum laude. Ariana Olivia Rich. Maxwell Reese Baxter. Allison Molly Romaine, summa cum laude. Jacob Cullen, summa cum laude. M. McKevitt, cum laude. Sophia Donaldson, magna cum laude. Abigail Gill. Lorelei Montgomery, summa cum laude. Alex George Durr, summa cum laude. Michael Francis Palazzolo, cum laude. Ethan Thompson, cum laude. James M. Hardigan, summa cum laude. Isabel Paul. Molly Elizabeth Gibson, summa cum laude. Bryce McCandless, summa cum laude. Aiden Lee Albin, summa cum laude. Elizabeth Morganova, magna cum laude. Jacob R. Fox. Catelyn Marie Livermore. Adriana Caitlin Delgado Perez. Alexa Kiersitz Urbaniak. Harley Weaver. Brian D. Barrick. Evie Schultz. Madison Stewart. Abigail Blount, summa cum laude. Kayla Marie Coleman, summa cum laude. Abigail Olivia Conklin, magna cum laude. Dylan Ting-Sheng Hickey, magna cum laude. Nathaniel Reyes, magna cum laude. John H. Klewicki, summa cum laude. Kevin Stevens. Jaden Pensil, cum laude. Joseph D. Newton, summa cum laude. Zachary J. Carter, magna cum laude. Jordan Elizabeth Manaki. Maya Mary Anna, magna cum laude. Noah Gibb. Colin O'Connor Flickama, summa cum laude. Zachary M. Abramo. Dominic Corsi, cum laude. Abigail Jacobson, cum laude. Abigail Miller, summa cum laude. Emily Marie Farmer, summa cum laude. Tracy Nicole Siliano, summa cum laude. Gabriella Christine Juliana, magna cum laude. Jacob McFarland, magna cum laude. Alyssa Schimmel, summa cum laude. C.G. Golowski, magna cum laude. Che Dixon, summa cum laude. Pedro Jesus Martinez, magna cum laude. Krista Kohlberg, summa cum laude. John L. Leahy. Jasmine Juliana Johnson, summa cum laude. Kat Haltener. Cora Kinsella, magna cum laude. Madison E. Kersey, magna cum laude. Hannah Porter, cum laude. Riley Nicole Stanton, summa cum laude. Violet Sapaglia, summa cum laude. Emily Rebus, summa cum laude. Madison L. Abbott. Nathan Wright Bueno de Mesquita, summa cum laude. Joseph Edward Kelly. Betty Rose Stevens, cum laude. Andrew Charles Palmer, summa cum laude. Eve Marguerite Castonguay, summa cum laude. Nicholas Ryan Kleinhans, summa cum laude. Lindsay Chalmers, summa cum laude. Erin Riley Quinn, summa cum laude. Aaron Adam Thomas Meekum, summa cum laude. Boaz Brody Thomas Meekum, summa cum laude. Taylor Marie Ingreo. Symphony Marie Nicole Jambeluca, magna cum laude. Emily Jane Abbey, cum laude. Bug Madrano, summa cum laude. Mackenzie Jane Gordon. Rachel Emily Weiser, cum laude. Tony Alicia DeCara West. Evelyn Steiner. Jake Bisnett. Nathaniel Dennis, summa cum laude. Olivia Karazowitz, magna cum laude. Harley Bruyore. Chase Patrick Calpin, magna cum laude. Carissa Ryland Doyle, magna cum laude.
Oh, right there.
Gage Rivera, summa cum laude. Jocelyn Rose Seib, magna cum laude. Zachary Thomas Frank, magna cum laude. Maya Cushman, summa cum laude. Cassandra Rose Cerrone. Anthony Lucas, summa cum laude. Chloe Elise Springer. Laurel Lee Elliott, summa cum laude. Lee Pai, cum laude. Justin Paul Malinowski, cum laude. Brian Eugene Valencia, cum laude. Alina C. Gilmer, magna cum laude. Nicholas Vasilios Galdimas, magna cum laude. Madeline Selby, cum laude. Cadence Osborne, summa cum laude. Evelyn Osborne, summa cum laude. Caitlin Duarte, magna cum laude. Aurora Endress. Reed Glynn. Bridget Catherine Flynn. Vanessa Nicole Lotito, cum laude. Regan O'Connor Jackson, cum laude. Lauren Marie O'Connor. Thomas George Bruggeman. Saya Shaw, magna cum laude.
Daniel Quagliana, summa cum laude. Marissa Elizabeth Zorb, summa cum laude. Sarah K. Zaleski, magna cum laude. Laura Beth Mollenkopf Grill, summa cum laude. Louis L. Lovelace. Harmony Buchanan. Grace Liberty Elizabeth Klein, magna cum laude. Sydney Juliana Janelle Hicks. Cheryl A. Caballero, summa cum laude. Pamela Calepro Pantin, summa cum laude. Belinda Frances Payne, summa cum laude. Michael Morales, cum laude. Cameron J. Kerr Smith. Matthew Beatty, summa cum laude. Emily Elizabeth Neiswanger, summa cum laude. Nathan D. Van Valkenburg, summa cum laude. Sophia Hadeen, summa cum laude. Brian Sinclair Light Jr. Ajara Hamza. Laura Nkr Wayfina. Isabel Vanette Rizzo, magna cum laude. Annalise Karen Gottinger, summa cum laude. Nastia Julie Korsch, summa cum laude. Catherine Lynn Carnavale, summa cum laude. Jay Rosenberg, summa cum laude. Brittany Nicole Howe, summa cum laude.
Chelsea Rose Suba.
Drew DePiro, cum laude. Nina Elizabeth Ross, summa cum laude. Abigail B. Rexford. Megan Snyder, magna cum laude. Amara Kieran Gorey, magna cum laude. Lindsay Cara Hawking. Raina Marie Myers. Natalie Cabral. Takaya Janice Parker. Joe Chi. Stephen Anthony Frazier Carta, cum laude. Catherine Mary Hanley. Sarah Elizabeth Warren. Courtney Orr, magna cum laude. Allison Ritten. Nichols. Allie Marie Wandell, cum laude. Carly Curtis, summa cum laude. Natasha McIntosh, magna cum laude.
We have
Jaden Scotty, summa cum laude. Mary Culleton, cum laude. Asa Rhodes Ostrowski, cum laude. Alexander Stacco. Audrey Judith Brown, cum laude. Catherine N. Sellers. Megan Taylor Wright. Olivia Kernan, magna cum laude. Samuel Schlifke. Lucas J. Williams. Adam Polito. Amanda Aja Ahenken Adwa.
Yeah, Amanda. Okay, Amanda.
Kevin Ahenken Aqua. Layla Chrysler.
Amanda.
Elizabeth Lynn Weigline, summa cum laude. Christian Robert Kvieten, magna cum laude. Stephanie Virginia Reed, summa cum laude. Aislinn Ryan Edmonds. Brent Hetrick, summa cum laude. Hannah Schubring, summa cum laude. Oliver T. McAfee. Adam Sanchez. Madison R. Avery, magna cum laude. Rosemarie Ellis, cum laude. Stella Badgie. Claricel Curry. Kelly S. Worcester. Jonathan D. Hagan. Michael S. Voitko. Brock Papke. Ethan Goodness.
Joel Frosty Tobar Portillo. Philip Alexander Williams. Josiah Whitaker. Paul Christopher. Nicole M. Jerzak, magna cum laude. Ashley M. Kipferl, summa cum laude. Olivia Fullerton, magna cum laude. Molly Allaire Herman, summa cum laude. Maggie Nagar, cum laude. Sid Sider, cum laude. Alina Jane Wiley. Faith Wankel. Harlequin C. Selajon, summa cum laude. Theodore Joseph Van de Ven IV, cum laude. Justin Dean Brooks. Michael William Hamill, summa cum laude. John Michael Reed, summa cum laude.
Louis Russell Marchese. Catherine Isabel Stott. Megan O'Connor. Samuel A. Payne, magna cum laude. Christina Noel Close, summa cum laude. William Christian Budney, summa cum laude. Hayden Colcher Hobbs. Zachary Tyler Dean, summa cum laude. Gabriel Metzger. Nicholas John Savage, magna cum laude. Ethan Scanlon. Catherine Wright Eichenberger.
Amelia Ellman, summa cum laude.
Bridget Turner, summa cum laude. Sophia Plitakis, summa cum laude. Aiden Grace Heaney, summa cum laude. Rhiannon Bethany Craver, magna cum laude. KK Rose La Barbera. Holden William Stevenson, cum laude. Ava Catherine Ruocco, summa Caitlin H. Power. Susie Scaccio. Kyle Pruitt. Garrett Sean McKenna.
Check.
Fidra Ratoub, cum laude.
Jacob Duran.
Eileen Rebecca Richardson, summa cum laude. Remy Comstock, magna cum laude.
Tomorrow, yeah. Well, afternoon will be smaller. Yeah.
Paige Kennedy Johnson, summa cum laude. Aiden Patrick Farley, summa cum laude.
It's a lively crowd. It's funny. Thomas got everyone excited.
Joseph Ronald Tobia.
Nice energy.
Hunter R. Tellerman.
Hilarious.
Alexander Joseph Needham, summa cum laude. Veronica Kathleen Strong. Audrey Anna Foose. Elizabeth Marie Arrington, summa cum laude. Emma J. Cole, summa cum laude. Bailey Watroba. Lacey Johnson. Alexander T. Fisher, summa cum laude.
How you doing? Congrats.
Benjamin Riley Evans, summa cum laude.
Cody Paul Gooley, magna cum laude. Caitlin Spina.
Niles A. Emile. Victoria Marie Winger, summa cum laude. Bella Marie Tomquins, magna cum laude. Tej Chana Talamonde. Gabriela G. Rubio Palencia, cum laude. Maya Melissa Niles, cum laude. Madeline Emily Jerusek.
Niles. Good job.
Knox White Craywick. Drake Borealis Cerrone, summa cum laude.
That's it.
Haley Patricia
Finally, last one.
Morris. Gray Davis, cum laude. Robert Gregg.
Good job.
Owen Hastings, magna cum laude. Adrian Grubb. Nathan A. Pekulski.
Samuel Judson Guzzo, summa cum laude.
Christian Scarpati. John Marr. Julia Nicole Dries, summa cum laude. Alexandria Marie Masterson. Marley Ray Agan, magna cum laude. Avery Michael Lewis, summa cum laude. Karma Marie Guida.
I think somebody plans to be the last person walking across.
Simon Rose Sangiorgi.
Oh, you did? Really? That's cool.
Nathaniel
memorable, yeah.
Laurie, cum laude. Morgan Elizabeth Lewis. Michael Austin Reed, cum laude. Olivia Page Mullen. Larkin Ray Shoemaker. Leah Rose Sweeney, magna cum laude. Jordan Marshall. Thomas Andrew Naughton. Shania Denicia Ajita. Michelle R. Jackson, summa cum laude. Sebastian Montalban. Rebecca Jean Cuthbert, summa cum laude. Kyle Lewis Pitlick. Owen Michael Brangis. Maria Archilla. Lillian Pridmore.
I would like to invite Fredonia Alumni Association Treasurer Dawn Spicer-Dake to the lectern.
Congratulations, class of 2025. You made it. On behalf of the Fredonia Alumni Association, I welcome you as newly recognized alumni of SUNY Fredonia. You join over 50,000 alumni across the world, including many in this arena today, an invaluable network to you as you move on to whatever comes next. I encourage you to stay in touch with your alma mater. Take advantage of that network. Share news for your Fredonia magazine, the statement Fredonia Forward, our alumni e-newsletter, and participate in regional events and gatherings. We encourage you to come back and visit your campus often to take advantage of the wealth of programming available to alumni. And of course, come back for homecoming this October. As you find success, whatever that may mean for you, I encourage you to show support for those who came after you, or who come after you, sharing your talents, your financial gifts, and your love of Fredonia. May your life's adventures be filled with joy, success, and kindness. On behalf of the Alumni Association, I extend our best wishes, and go Blue Devils.
Congratulations to each of you receiving a degree this morning. To the faculty who are here today, both in front of me and in the VIP section, and some of you that I see in the risers, many of you have dedicated your lives to teaching the hearts and the minds of our students here. And I see you and I thank you, and I invite our graduates to thank their faculty loudly one more time. Special thanks and congratulations to today's keynote speaker, Dr. Kim Harrington, the musical groups, and all special guests for being part of the 2025 commencement of the State University of New York at Fredonia. Graduates will be exiting Steele Hall at the lower level doors facing the Williams Center. I ask you to rise now and join the Fredonia Chamber Choir in singing our alma mater.